In Islam, the guidance on all aspects of life, including health and well-being, is derived from the Quran and the Hadith. The issue of intoxicating in the Quran, Hadith, and drugs abuse in Malaysia is particularly significant in Islamic teaching, as it intersects with the core principle of health prevention, mental well-being, and society harmony. This documentation explores the Islamic perspective on drugs, discusses the prohibition of intoxicant in Quran and Hadith, and the laws in Malaysia regarding drugs abuse.
It is common knowledge that drugs are prohibited and haram in Islam. Thus, do we have a verse in the Al-Quran related to the prohibition against the abuse of intoxicating or debilitating substance? To understand the issues more deeply, we will interview Associate Professor Dr. Muallimin Muhammad from the Faculty of Sharia and Law. He is also the head of the program, which is a Bachelor of Fiqh and Fatwa, an experienced expert in the field of usul fiqh. He will share his view and suggestion to deal with this problem.
Today, I will interview a lecturer from the Faculty of Sharia and Law, which is Associate Professor Dr. Muallimin, also the Chief Program of Bachelor of Fiqh and Fatwa. Without wasting time, allow me, Doctor, to start this interview session. So, the first question, is there a verse in the Al-Quran that alludes to the prohibitions against the drugs?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, thank you, Batrisha and the colleagues for the question. First of all, to answer this question, we have to know that Al-Quran is the guidance for Muslims in their daily life, and it is a way of life for Muslim. In terms of drugs, for example, there is no mention about drugs specifically in Al-Quran, but there are verses about the prohibition of related to liquors or to khamr, not drugs itself, not in details. The drugs, of course, not mentioned in Al-Quran, but we have, for example, the prohibition of al-khamr. For example, in so many ayat, I think Surah Al-Ma'idah, Allah said, Ya ayyuhalladzina amanu innamal khamru wal maisiru wal ansabu wal azlamu rijsun min amali syaitan. Al-khamr wal maisir rijsun min amali syaitan fajtanibuh. Khamr is prohibited in Islam, and you have to go away from it, meaning that this is mentioned about the khamr, and drugs is having effects same as khamr.
Thank you, Doctor, for the information about drugs in Islamic perspective. Also, thank you for your time for us. That's all for the Shukran, Doctor.
Okay, you're welcome.
Malaysia has strict law regarding drug abuse, aligning with Islamic principles, and as far as we know, drug cases are adjudicated in civil court for both Muslim and non-Muslim. So, we had an interview session with Dr. Syed Muhammad Najib bin Syed Omar, lecturer in Islamic law, regarding the alignment of drug law in Malaysia with Islamic teachings, and also his views on whether cases should be held in Sharia court for Muslim. What are the laws in Malaysia regarding drug abuse, and how do they align with Islamic teaching?
One particular law that is specifically for the drug abuse, which is the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952. So this act is actually cover a lot of things. Okay, not only to the use of the drug itself, okay, but also the importation, the exportations, the manufacture, the sale, okay, the use, okay, so on and so forth of the drugs. Okay. But the most important things that we need to know what exactly is the drugs that this act is talking about. So in the Dangerous Drug Act 1952, if we go and look at the section 2 of the term dangerous drugs, okay, it lists down a lot of things which is more scientific, but the most obvious one, something that we can understand directly, is opium, for example, the cannabis, okay, the poppy leaves, okay, the coca leaves, okay, that one is the natural drugs, ataupun the drugs that is extracted from natural substance. This act does not directly stated that this drug is prohibited. It's only controlled, meaning that it can be used for whatever purpose as long as they get permission from the authority. The next question that you ask me is about whether or not it is in line with Islam. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. La tulqu bi aydikum ila tahluka. Although this Quranic verse is very general, janganlah kamu mencampakkan diri kamu ke dalam kebinasaan. This verse has been used by the Majlis Fatwa di wilayah persekutuan, prohibit the use of cannabis. So they say that the use of cannabis generally is prohibited based on Surah Al-Baqarah verse 195. Okay, la tulqu bi aydikum ila tahluka. Dan janganlah kamu mencampakkan diri kamu ke dalam bahaya kebinasaan. But at the same time, in the same fatwa, they allow the use of cannabis for medical purposes if the person is in the state of emergency, kalau dalam keadaan darurat.
So, in conclusion, there are many laws in Malaysia that prohibit drug abuse. What Islam prohibits certainly has negative implication for all humanity. So, Malaysian laws are aligned with the Quran and Hadith because Islam emphasizes clean, health and social harmony. Also, scientifically, it has been proven that substances in drugs can lead to organ damage and psychological disorders. So, drug abuse crime need to be prevented by all parties.